Hey, and welcome back to the channel, everybody. How are you all doing? In today's video, I'm going to take you through how I've modified my 4 degree of freedom motion sim with a very simple coupling system so that I can run my VIRPIL joystick up through between my legs to give me more of that realistic World War II joystick vibe. This is based off a somewhat sad piece of 30 by 30 by 2mm by 80mm in length box. This was just lying outside for some time. You can see how badly pitted and rusted that is. The integrity of this is still fine, and I'll just rust convert this, and this will all be painted up basically once this is finished. So this is a very simple modification that just allows me to add a coupling, this, to then add a coupling to my joystick that comes down and joins onto this. It's movable so I can get the position right. Very simple, very simple. It's going to depend on your joystick and what mounts are on your joystick and how that joystick could be modified to mount something like this. But anyone building the Dr ADHD 4 degree of freedom motion sim, you're going to have this same coupling system, okay? It's the coupling system that runs to the universal joint. You can certainly weld another piece of box on top of that to run something like this. So I'm going to go through how I've done this, how I've made the mount that goes from the joystick into this coupling, and give you a look at how easy it is to do this. You'll just have to vary lengths and sizes because not everybody's top frame coupling is going to stick out, you know, from the universal joint the same or whatever. It's going to be basically a measure up and fasten once you've done your measurements. But this will give you the idea, and hopefully this will get those creative juices flowing if you want to do something like this with your joystick as well. So indeed, the Doc has been neglecting the flight sim side of things on the motion sim for some time. I had a real hankering to get back into some flight sim stuff, but I wanted to realign my joystick on my rig. Before I've done this modification, my joystick used to sit off the side, off my right-hand side of my rig near my seat, so it worked, but it wasn't ideal. I wanted something to give me that real cool World War II vibe. Since I play a lot of IL-2 Sturmovik, both the original 1946 series and the more later Battle of Stalingrad series with the Korean series coming out soon. That's going to be awesome. I've invested in a new Quest 3 virtual reality headset. I wanted to set this up because I'm going to do a lot of World War II flight sim. So the main issue is going to be how your joystick normally mounts to whatever it is that it mounts to. Hopefully you've got a way that you can remove that mounting system. Now, this is VIRPIL gear, okay? This is high-end Russian-built flight sim stuff. I got this used, so I didn't pay a fortune for it. I got it for a good price. You can work on everything with these, the way that they've built it. This was the base that originally was on the joystick itself. It's too large because my legs basically wrap around each side of this, and you'll see this later in the video. I'll show you with me sitting in the rig with the way this is set up on the rig. My legs come right next to this. It had to be really low profile the way I worked out a mount. But because I had the existing plate, I was able to use this as a template. And what I found, and again, this was because I had this lying around in my workshop, I found some 75 by 5mm flat steel. It was a little bit thick at 5mm, so I needed to cut down the corners, grind them down. So there was not quite enough thread for these little Allen key bolts to thread into the main joystick housing. So that was a bit of a fiddle, but this is the sort of stuff you do, all right, to make it work. So depending on how your joystick is mounted and what you can remove, because you're basically going to need to be able to create and attach a coupling system like what you see here. Let me talk about the coupling system now, all right, that couples onto whatever it is that you need to attach to your main joystick body. So this is just a piece of 30 by 30 by 2mm box here that I've welded to the very front in the center, all right, of the plate that attaches to the main joystick body. Guys, this is all done with this not attached to the joystick, okay? You weld all this stuff up and everything like that on your plate before you reattach this to the joystick. Don't do welding and stuff like that. If this is attached to any joystick, you will melt your joystick. You will melt the electronics inside the joystick. So this is done, removed from the joystick. I would hope that would be common sense, but just double checking you know that. So this 30 by 30, I cut it at 30mm in length, all right? And I welded it to the very front of the joystick in the very center of the mounting plate. Then I've taken a length of 270 millimeters in length, 25 by 25 by 2 mil, it slots inside. Now, this is placed into the 30 by 30, then both of them are drilled through, okay? So you get a dead straight hole to mount the 25 by 25 into the 30 by 30, and it's just a nut and bolt. Now, because it's only one bolt, it means that you've got a reasonable amount of pivot, which is very, very handy. That enabled me to basically angle the joystick at the top. Now, to do that, all I've needed to do is, once I've got it to the right angle, I've just found a little screw that was able to be screwed into the 30 by 30. It's a little bit like a shim, but permanent and adjustable. I can take it out if I needed to change the angle to the other way. I can remove the screw, put it in the other side. You get the idea. That's what comes up from what we saw earlier. So this is what slides into that 30 by 30 on the top frame coupling to universal joint, all right? That slides in, it's adjustable, so then you can get this to be coming out of your seat far enough to come up through your legs to where you need it. And this just simply mounts inside. And this is adjustable as well, okay? It can adjust right through this piece of box, so then you can get the desired height for where you're sitting in the sim. So the things that you're going to have to consider are how long your stem actually needs to be at the end of the day. It may need to be taller than mine if your seat's sitting taller than mine, etc. And also this one here, okay, so this main coupling system, again guys, it's a piece of 30 by 30 by 2 mil box, welded onto some more 25 by 25 by 2 mil. That piece is cut at 200 millimeters in length, all right? That is just fastened via a Tek screw to the box that we saw welded on the top frame coupling at the start of the video. And again, when you get this set up to be at the height you want, you would run a Tek screw through this 30 by 30 into the 25 by 25, and then it's happy days. All right, so it gives you adjustment vertically and horizontally. I'm going to show you how I've set up my shifter versus throttle assembly and how that mounts onto my motion sim. Then I'm going to set this up on my coupling system. I'm going to sit in the motion sim, and then you can see how this all works. Okay, this is a very simple mounting system that I designed to be able to interchange my shifter with my throttle body assembly. Probably better, guys, to actually use the right size spanner for this rather than a shifting spanner. You are asking for trouble with the shifter, but this is all I had lying around. And it's just set up like that, okay? That's the little coupling system. A couple of little pieces of flat with some bolts already welded through on this adjuster. My VIRPIL throttle body has the same setup to be coupled back on. The two nuts are just placed back on, and then you just give it a nip up. Let's have a look at the joystick. Okay, I've got my little coupler already in my top frame coupling to my universal joint. I'm going to take my joystick now. I'm going to try not to squash my cock and balls, which could happen, guys, if you're not careful. You don't want a cock and ball squash. Don't want that. All right, got to take my wheel off. And once you get that adjusted to where you want it, it's a beautiful thing, okay? It's a beautiful thing. So you can see what I'm talking about needing clearance from the steering wheel plate here. You probably can't see it actually in the video shot, but that's what you're trying to manage. And you don't want this sort of shoved into you too far as well. Now I've got a bunch of space there. I could actually bring this out from the bottom a little bit. All right, and adjust it. That's better. So that's more comfortable. It's not pushing right up against my body, but I'm getting where I need the joystick to clear anything on the sim and still be comfortable in the position that I'm sitting. So that's what you're aiming for. That's what that little system allows. You just need to also be able to put a little bit of angle on the joystick itself, and running that stem into a single bolt that gives you a little bit of play, because the 30x30 is a little bit larger that the 25x25 sleeves into, and then you can just use a little shim to lock in your angle. Works really, really well. This is quite loose at the moment because none of the stuff is fastened, all right? So particularly that bottom piece that fastens into the top frame coupling, that really needs to be fastened so it doesn't move. Once it's fastened, you virtually don't even need to fasten the joystick stem into it. It can just slide in and it'll sit quite rigid. So that's what it's all about, guys. Very easy modification, because you can use what's already built in the Dr ADHD motion sim. If you want to run your joystick right centrally with you, as I said, mine used to be out here. That worked, but you know, that's probably more of a space type of setup. If you're really into some of those space games, a lot of those guys use dual joysticks. You could have one joystick each side, I guess. That'd be pretty cool. But if you're into you know, combat flight sims, etc., this very well may be the go for you. Thanks for tuning in. If this has helped, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until I see you in the next video, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and take it easy out there.